Hello once again and welcome to another edition of Where the 99 Leads. I'm Andrew Joyce, your host, and this program brought to you by the University of Pikeville. Where the 99 Leads refers to the historic 99 steps that lead to the University of Pikeville campus, but also lead from campus back into the community, back into the region, and back into the world. We're joined by special guests today as we talk about Fall for the Humanities. Dr. Todd Westgate, Associate Professor of Music, joins us. Welcome once again.
Thank you.
Before we go further, let's talk about your background and your arrival here at the University of Pikeville. Let's talk about where you come from.
I came from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I was at Stillman College there, and I was on the music faculty. And I've come here. This is my start of my fourth year here at the University of Pikeville in the music department, and I'm very happy and just glad to be here.
Dr. Todd Westgate, let's talk about your upbringing. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Manhattan, Kansas, and went to Kansas State University, and then for my master's degree, I went to Southern Illinois University in Carbondale, Illinois, and then I did my doctorate at University of Illinois in Champaign, and then I did additional postdoctoral work at the University of Alabama in piano.
Very good. And you head south and you've stayed south.
I guess I have.
Indeed. Dr. Tom Hess, Vice President for Academic Affairs and Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, our guest again as well. Welcome back in.
Thanks for having us.
So glad to have you here. Now, for those that haven't been tuned in before, Dr. Tom Hess, let's talk about where you come from and your arrival here.
I've been here since 1996. I started as an assistant professor of chemistry way back when, and for Pikeville College then. I grew up in Kentucky. I'm originally from Louisville, but I came to Pikeville by way of Texas. I did undergraduate work at Center College, but I did my PhD work at Texas A&M.
You've been here almost 20 years.
That's right.
And you mentioned Pikeville College, of course, the most obvious change, the name change to the university. But there have been a lot of changes to the footprint of the university, to the student body as well. What have been some of the most drastic changes for you in your position now as Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences and as the university as a whole?
Well, I think the biggest changes, I started this position in 2009, and had the great privilege to work with Governor Patton as he led the university as president then, started then as well. And then we were 630 full-time undergraduates, and we had the med school, and that was about it. Sure. Now today we're over 1,200 undergrad students. We've got master's degree programs, especially in business, and education are the two big ones. We've got, of course, the big hole in the hill, which is for the future optometry school. We've expanded the medical school. A lot of great things happening on the hill right now.
Absolutely. A lot of changes, and of course your role changes as well with that growth.
Absolutely, yes.
As the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, I guess that wasn't even a position 6 years ago.
6 years ago, I was dean of the college,
right?
And we didn't even really recognize when we became a university. We created the arts and sciences as really a foil to the College of Osteopathic Medicine, because back before that it was Pikeville College, pretty much the undergraduate school, and then the Pikeville College School of Osteopathic Medicine. So under that university umbrella, we've also created several new colleges. We have the Coleman College of Business. We have which spun out of the College of Arts and Sciences, the College of, or rather the Elizabeth Akers Elliott School of Nursing, which again spun out of the College of Arts and Sciences, and then the next new college was the Patton College of Education, which was created just this past year. So, and in doing that, we did that to really kind of highlight those special areas and to really give them, I want to say, room to breathe almost. It kind of breathes a it creates, and the idea is to create more programming, build additional programs underneath each of those umbrellas. Business, we created the MBA program and a sport management program. In education, we now have the Masters in Education Teacher Leader program. And in nursing, we have great plans for the nursing program within the framework of the new health sciences building. So we expect a lot of growth in that program as well. So, but that's still, in the College of Arts and Sciences, we have new programming as well,
Sure.
Film and Media Arts, theater minor. We've revamped our music minor. We've done, we've made extensive changes to a number of our other majors. And I think each of those changes is looking towards the future and improving the educational opportunities in the region.
Absolutely. Safe to say that there is not grass growing underneath anyone's feet at the University of Pikeville.
Not at all.
And that includes our other guest, Dr. Todd Westgate, Associate Professor of Music. We're here today to talk about a series of events the faculty and students are planning around campus. Fall for the Humanities. Let's talk about that. What is it? When does it take place?
It's taking place October the 9th. It runs that day from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. What it is that it's to make the students and other faculty aware of the humanities at the college. It's also community. They're certainly invited to attend anything. They can find the calendar on our webpage for the college and to see what events are scheduled at what time.
Sure. What type of events take place?
Well, each of the areas of the humanities, theater, art, music and religion, Spanish, English, film and media, prepare a presentation or a project for their area, and they're in charge of planning that event and scheduling it and then executing or bringing it to fruition that day at that time.
Most recently talked with Kim Willard with the theater department
Yes.
at the University of Pikeville, a new addition to the campus, and talking about a production that's coming up there. Is that part of Fall for the Humanities?
It is part of Fall for the Humanities. As you know, essentially the biggest day of the event is the 9th, which is the Friday. But the musical Violet is in a traditional theater format, is running a 3-night run.
Sure.
And so we've scheduled that Thursday and then Saturday and Sunday of that same week. So
very much looking forward to that production and the addition of the theater department to the University of Pikeville. Theater goes hand in hand with music.
yes, very
And
much
I
so.
would imagine that there is some crossover in some of the students involved in both of
Absolutely.
those as
Many
well.
of the students that are, several of the students that are involved in the Violet production are also in our music minor and in the college choir. And so, yes, this musical is something that the student body has wanted to do for a very long time. They've been asking and asking for us to make this a potentially availability to them, and they are very excited about it. It's a very strong cast, and I think people will be very surprised at the level of excellence that is going to be seen.
Yeah, I will not be surprised. Students at the University of Pikeville, they never cease to amaze me. Always very talented when we see them outside of the classroom and able to exhibit the skills that they have. Dr. Hess, how did the idea for the Humanities celebration come about, and how do events like this enhance the student experience?
Well, this project, the Fall for the Humanities, or in the past we actually called it Humanities on the Hill.
Right.
It's a faculty-driven project. It came out of the faculty got together and said, we want to do something. We want to do something to highlight the humanities. So often we hear about athletics, or we hear about, people don't want to talk about the med school, but there's so many other things going on. So I think that's where it started. It started with people like Todd and Brigida Anderson, chair of the division, and the many other faculty that are in the unit. And what they saw is a way, they wanted a way to allow the students to showcase what they're doing. And I think we tend to kind of tuck a lot of those other things back. You know, there's a lot of courses in the humanities that a lot of students take because they're just part of a general education requirement. But there's so much more than that. And I think so for the students, it allows them to show off, to display what they've learned and what they're, you know, in some cases it's talent, but it's more than just displaying a specific talent. It's they develop a sense of they are having to perform, they're having to learn, they're learning to communicate. They're communicating through whether it's a musical production, a play, a dramatic reading, many of the events. Film and media arts is probably, they want to have a short film series at this time of the year. So it's all about showing those things, allowing students to display their talents, but it also is about attracting and helping other students realize the breadth of their education and what it can be. And that's really important.
So many times the focus might be on athletics.
Yep.
Very visible in the community are the athletics programs at the University of Pikeville, as they are at many universities. This gives the humanities students a chance to shine.
Yeah.
Their time in the spotlight, because we have some very talented students that perhaps someone who's in an English class or an accounting class or a business law class doesn't realize the person sitting next to them in that class is a talented vocalist or a talented musician or an artist or an actor. And they have that chance to shine, and it certainly does expose, and it exposes other students to the opportunities that are there.
Exactly.
Perhaps they have those talents.
Exactly.
But they've put those away since high school, or they've never realized those opportunities, and those opportunities are there. Talked recently about a minor in theater. There are so many students that have been involved in theater in the community growing up, and now it's available as a minor at the university. I think a great addition as one of the humanities.
I think it's important we understand that students begin to understand their education is not just a collection of courses.
Sure.
It's the sum of all those. It's the synergy of all of those courses that helps create them as an individual, and they're growing. And I'm always amazed how much they grow over the 4 years that they're with us. And this is an exciting project. It really truly is.
Fall for the Humanities. It's a day-long event at the University of Pikeville. Many different activities will take place during that day. Dr. Westgate, how are the faculty and students involved in planning for this event and promoting Fall for the Humanities?
Well, of course, they promote it within their classes. A lot of faculty will, encourage their students to attend the different events, and and somehow track that they did go and attend a poetry or a play or a musical performance of some kind. So they're involved that way, and we interdisciplinarily each ask that our students in all of our classes in the humanities attend different things throughout the day, and that sort of thing.
A liberal arts education. We hear that term used, and many times the general community, they don't understand what that is and why is it important. There are students on the University of Pikeville campus, I would imagine, that have never been to a professional or high amateur theater production.
Absolutely.
And they're exposed to these things. They have never been to a piano recital.
No.
And they're exposed to these things. And that's part of a liberal arts education. That's part of why the humanities are involved, as you say, with coursework. There is a requirement for a certain number of humanities courses to be involved in that. Talk about the interdisciplinary classes that Dr. Westgate has referred to. Tell us, for those that are tuned in that don't understand what that is, first, what is an interdisciplinary class?
Okay, well, interdisciplinary refers to bringing together different specific disciplines. An easy example, musical theater,
Sure.
okay? Combining dramatic aspects of theater with song and dance, if you would be a simple example. But the examples get far more complicated. You start looking at getting disciplines coming together. If you could have, say, chemistry and business coming together.
Right.
And that's one project that I really would love to see. I'm a chemist, and I see a lot of future there with things, the ideas and concepts behind entrepreneurship. But the idea is to bring together those aspects of both disciplines and show how they support each other. And in doing so, you allow maybe two faculty members to come together. Recently, we had an interdisciplinary class in Spanish and art. And the students created a mural on campus. It's on in the third floor lobby of Armington. But in doing so, they learned about many of the cultural aspects. And if you're familiar with Mexican culture, there's very big, and Spanish culture, there's a very big, there's an artistic component. They're very big on murals, and so it became about telling the story of the University of Pikeville culture.
Right.
And that was what they brought into this as a project. So in that project, they're planning. They're thinking, what is it that makes the University of Pikeville special? What's its past? And then how do I carry that through art and other media to be able to communicate that? Those are just basic skills that any business, and you're thinking, well, business isn't really necessarily interested in painting or a mural, but they're interested in communicating.
Sure.
And I think that's the key. The humanities are all about communication, about critical thinking, teaching not just basic skills like writing. We think about English, oh, that's writing. Or, we read literature. Well, why do we read literature? We read literature so we start to understand the human condition, the emotions, where we are from, how people respond to things. And then we write essays. Well, what are essays? They're critiques, they're arguments. And you're learning to create and write arguments, which is critical if you're going to go off and be, say, a lawyer.
Sure.
Or if you're in my position, I write extensively. And you have to be able to do that. And so interdisciplinary helps us break down the silos, break down the barriers between the different areas, and allow students to realize, hey, I'm learning this here. All of these things come together in a synergy that actually turns into so much more than just the individual content or the individual topic.
Outside the classroom, outside academia, in the real world, all the disciplines come together.
Yep.
And we must be able to function in those worlds as college graduates and those with degrees from the University of Pikeville. It's important for students to experience interdisciplinary studies. Why is it important? Is it important for faculty to be involved in co-teaching and these classes as well?
I would say definitely. I think a faculty member, faculty come from a single discipline. Many of them they're highly trained. They've learned so much about a very narrow single focus.
Sure.
And many times it's very important that they see how their aspects, they start connecting those pieces together as well. And so the idea, faculty are always learning. And I think that is a critical point. We're all always learning.
Sure.
And so as we see, if Todd is involved in an interdisciplinary class with Dr. Anderson, as part of that class, they're going to be doing music and culture of Tuscany, and it ends with a trip to Italy, to the areas that they're studying, so they can really experience. But they start seeing how all of these things meld together.
Sure.
In doing so, they start seeing the connections that they never realized. They get the opportunity to share what they know best, but also learn from somebody who else is sharing what they know best. And that's a tremendous, tremendous asset.
Dr. Todd Westgate, Associate Professor of Music, and Dr. Tom Hess, Vice President for Academic Affairs and Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, our guest on this edition of Where the 99 Leads. And Dr. Westgate, Fall for the Humanities at UPike, coming the second week of October, and we look forward to that. We understand that Coaltown Dixie takes a part in that as well. Tell us more about that.
Coaltown Dixie will be presenting a concert in Booth Auditorium that evening at 8 o'clock. It's free, open to the public, and we're very excited. It's my understanding that at least one member of Coaltown Dixie is an alumni of the college or the university, and it's just important that, I think they specialize in bluegrass music. That's something that is very much a part of the heritage musically here in this area, and so it will be an opportunity for the students, because we have students not just from this area but from everywhere, and that they maybe haven't experienced bluegrass music in that way, and that will be an opportunity for that.
Expanding the culture of many students that I would imagine may have heard a bit of bluegrass music, but actually sat through an entire concert. And Coaltown Dixie, I think, special, all female.
Yes.
And it's bluegrass that at times is kicked up a notch.
Yes, I think they call it in their promotion bluegrass in high heels.
Yes. And it's something that's very enjoyable for those that are fans of bluegrass who enjoy Coaltown Dixie. But I know there are fans of other genres of music that have also enjoyed Coaltown Dixie's music because it is presented in a little different way while hanging on to the heritage of bluegrass music, also taking it to a next level. And it's a great show. That concert for students, how's that beneficial to all students?
It's actually, for our music appreciation classes, they are strongly encouraged to attend that event and to write a critique of it. So, that there's that. And I think that music, students, they get tracked into one or certain type of music or something like that. But once they start being exposed to other kinds of music, such as bluegrass or blues or jazz or something like that, and then they start to find out that they really do like everything, sure, other things, and so it's important. It makes them a better patron of the arts later on in life, to have a broader palette,
to be more well-rounded.
Mm-hmm.
Because many people will grow up listening to the music mom and dad did,
yes,
reading the books mom and dad did, experiencing the things in life that mom and dad did, and expanding that. That's what the university is all about, is expanding those students and expanding the world that they're exposed to. Dr. Hess, as Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences at UPike, what are the most important aspects of, or ideas of, the study of humanities that contribute to the liberal arts education?
Wow. I guess we'll be here for
we
a while.
only have about 5 minutes left.
All right. Well, we'll keep it short.
Yeah.
The humanities are an absolute cornerstone of the liberal arts. When you think about liberal arts, we think about terms like critical thinking.
Yes.
We think about ethical awareness. We think about students needing to be able to learn. They need to learn to learn. They need to learn to think, and they need to learn to communicate. And really, that is the heart of what the humanities provide. As I alluded to earlier, it's not necessarily about, and I use the example often, you're taking a class on 18th century women poets.
Yes.
It's not necessarily about learning just about 18th century women poets. It's about reading a block of work, developing an understanding, developing a baseline knowledge of that in such a way that you can then construct an argument. And those are skills that carry all through your life. Anytime you're in business or you're in a profession, you are always you have to learn about it. You have to learn some things. And then you have to be able to construct, make arguments. You have to think critically about what you're doing. You're as you're a student, you're going to go out in the real world, you're going to go to work, you're going to have a boss. That boss is not interested in telling you how to do your job.
Right.
They're interested in getting it done. And that's where the critical thinking skills come from. And I think the humanities are often kind of forgotten. It's like, well, they teach about 18th century women poets, but there's so much more that you get out of that class. It's about the process. It's about research. It's about being able to communicate those ideas, create, synthesize, and communicate those ideas clearly. And those are all skills any businessman would love to have in their employees.
Absolutely. A recent example, we talked about music and theater as parts of the humanities and the teamwork involved in so many of the productions. It's a skill that many people in business would love to have their employees own some team skills, because so many people don't have those skills and they're learned through the humanities.
That shared, that ability to share in a project and to carry it through, to pull it off, and of course there's always a timeline. I mean, it's like Violet. They are taking this from start to finish in 6 weeks. And we tend to think this is life.
Right.
You've got to be, this is the deadline. We've got to get this done. This is, it's not acceptable. We can't just keep, there is opening night.
Yes.
And those skills the students learn are absolutely incredibly important for the future.
Absolutely. Just like the construction going on the School of Optometry. There's an opening date for that school to be open. There's a deadline there as well. Dr. Tom Hess, Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences at the University of Pikeville, our guest. Dr. Todd Westgate. Dr. Westgate, talking about Fall for the Humanities at UPike, how can the community be involved or learn more about the schedule of events?
If they will, of course, watch the website at the homepage for the university. The calendar will be listed there, and also, if they have suggestions or ideas that they might like to see in future years at this festival, they can certainly contact myself or Dr. Anderson at the university, and we would be more than happy to listen to that. And we also would like to invite the whole community to the event, and would ask that they come and support and experience the humanities.
A day full of humanities, October 9th at the University of Pikeville. You can find the schedule on the website, upike.edu. And we want to thank Dr. Tom Hess and Dr. Todd Westgate, our guest on this edition of Where the 99 Leads. It's a program brought to you by the University of Pikeville, the leading university of Central Appalachia. Thanks for tuning in.